if you're looking at buying a wireless speaker, Huawei may not be the first brand name that you would immediately think of. But this Huawei Sound wireless speaker has some pretty cool technology behind it. So let's find out whether this is a good wireless speaker or not. Kia ora, good morning everyone, Richard here, welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to have a look at this Huawei Sound wireless speaker. This is the second speaker that Huawei collaborate with the French company Devialet. The first one is the Huawei Sound X, and this is the Huawei Sound, which is a slightly smaller version of the Sound X. There are 4 speakers inside this wireless speaker plus 2 passive units because Huawei partnered with Devialet to create this speaker, so they have used quite a few of Devialet's patent technology to create this small wireless speaker. Now, if you have never heard of the name Devialet, they are a French company that is focused on high-end speakers. Devialet's own wireless speaker would cost you around $3,000, and many people consider that the best wireless speaker in the world. Just a quick disclaimer, Huawei sent me this unit for this review, but as usual, they have no control over the actual content of the review, and I will try to keep this review as unbiased and as fair as possible. Okay, let's start by talking about the build quality and design of this Huawei Sound speaker. As you can see, this is not a very large speaker. The size of it is very similar to a lot of the other wireless speaker in the market, and it is slightly smaller than the previous Huawei Sound X speaker. But having said that, it is actually pretty heavy. The weight of the speaker is around 2.2 kilograms. So holding it like this, the speaker feels pretty heavy. And as many of you probably know, a heavy speaker is a good speaker. The top half of the speaker has a polycarbonate casing on it, so you can call it feel slightly plasticky if you use the finger to tap on it, but it does have a very beautiful, very shiny paint job on it, which does give it a pretty nice and premium feeling. Unfortunately, just like pretty much any other gadget that has a nice and shiny black paint, the Huawei Sound is also a bit of a fingerprint magnet. So if you put your finger on top of the unit, or when you hold it, or if you move it around, very soon you will find there is a lot of fingerprint on top of its nice and shiny black paint surface. So personally, I would prefer if it has a matte black surface to avoid the fingerprint. On each side of the unit, there is a cutout here, and behind it, there is a passive speaker unit. So there are 2 on each side of the speaker, and together they are part of the push-push speaker technology from Devialet. So these 2 passive speaker unit works together with the 4-inch woofer that is inside the speaker. Together they can create some very nice and very deep bass without creating too much vibration. At the top of the unit, we have a multi-button control panel here, as well as a RGB color display to display the status of the speaker. I'm going to talk about the operation and this control unit a little bit more later on in this video. At the bottom half of the unit, we have 3 5-volt full range speakers that are evenly spaced from each other. So that means at each 120 degrees, there is one of those full range speaker. So the idea is that all these 3 speakers together can give you a 360 degree sound. So no matter where you are sitting or standing, you should still be able to hear good audio coming out from this Huawei Sound wireless speaker. If you are looking at buying a speaker that also has voice assistant feature, you will be a bit disappointed by this Huawei Sound because it doesn't have any kind of voice assistant feature at all. It doesn't support Siri, it doesn't support Google Assistant or Alexa. So for users who really want to have the voice assistant feature, this Huawei Sound is probably not the speaker for you. But on the other hand, in terms of audio input, this Huawei Sound supports both Bluetooth, and also UPnP, and there's also a 3.5mm audio input jack at the back of the speaker. So there are plenty different ways for you to get audio onto this Huawei Sound speaker. In terms of connecting your smart device to this Huawei speaker, there are multiple ways that you can do that, but I think the best way is if you install the Huawei AI Live app. The Huawei AI Live app is the application from Huawei to control all the IoT products from Huawei. IoT is Internet of Things. So yeah, like some of the products that I have reviewed in the past, for example, the Huawei headphone or the earbud, they can all be controlled and connected using the Huawei AI Live app. So yeah, install the Huawei AI Live app first on your smart device, and then you connect the power to this speaker. Then you will see that there is a orange color ring at the top of the speaker, and then you can use the AI Live app to add a new device, and then you can follow the instructions to connect your smart device to the speaker. After that, there are many things that you can do inside the AI Live app. For example, you can change the volume of the speaker, you can update the firmware, you can check out all the instruction, the help menu of this speaker, and you can also set one of the sound profile from your AI Live app. So there are 4 of them that you can choose. There's the hi-fi, vocal, Devialet, space, soundstage, and also the bass setting. So while you can still connect your smartphone to the speaker without installing the Huawei AI Live app, I highly recommend you to install the Huawei AI Live app, because there are certain settings and features that is only accessible after you install the Huawei AI Live app. And also, it is a very nice app. The only thing that I would complain about the AI Live app when using with the speaker is every time when you run the AI Live app and select the speaker, it does take a few seconds for it to establish the connection to the speaker before you can go in and change any of the settings. So I really wish I don't have to wait a few seconds, but otherwise this is a very nice and very easy to use app. In terms of actually controlling and using this speaker, apart from using the Huawei AI Live app, which I have just talked about, there is also the button that is at top of this display. But before that, I want to talk about one very nice feature, which is, like, for example, if you are listening to some music or watching some video on your phone and you suddenly want to start casting the audio onto the speaker, what you need to do is just, first thing, make sure you have the NFC connection turned on your smart device, and then you just need to tap your device onto the speaker. There is a NFC logo, or where is it, and here, and so you just need to tap it here, and then it will cast the audio from your smart device onto the speaker. That is a very nice, very handy feature which allow you to quickly have the audio start casting on the speaker without you having to go into some setting menu and click a lot of buttons. So I really like that feature. There are 4 buttons at the top of the speaker, which is usually not visible, but you just need to place your hand near the top of the speaker, and then you see all the buttons light up. So there is one for increasing the volume and one for decreasing the volume of the speaker. And also, when you are adjusting the volume of the speaker, you can see there is a blue ring surrounding those buttons, and you can see how loud the speaker is. And there's a button for you to mute the speaker, but there's also another easy way and very cool way for you to mute the speaker, and that is you just need to place your hand at the top of the speaker, and that's it. That will immediately mute the output from the speaker. And when you want to unmute it, do the same thing again. Place your hand at the top of the speaker, and then it will unmute the speaker immediately. Quite often I find that when I'm listening to music in my room, for example, sometimes I just want to, like, for example, if someone come in, my kids come in, and I just want to quickly mute the speaker. So without having to find and press the button on the speaker or grab my smartphone to mute it, I can just quickly do that to mute it, and when I finish, and then I can do that again and I'll unmute it. So yeah, I think that is a very cool and very handy feature. Okay, now let's talk about the audio quality of this Huawei Sound speaker, and let's talk about how loud this speaker is first. So the official figure from Huawei is that the maximum loudness of this speaker is 90 decibel SPL. So 90 dB is definitely pretty loud. Now, it is not loud enough, for example, if you want to have a big party and if you invite like all your neighborhood or all your school or all your college, if you have like 40-50 people in a big area and you want to have a bit of dance party, it is not loud enough for an event like that. But if you just want to listen to music in your home, in your room or a living room, even if it's a large living room, this speaker is definitely loud enough. For me, I have almost never turned the speaker to full volume. I have done that a few times just because I want to see what is the sound quality like when I have it at the full volume, but quickly after like 10 seconds or so, I immediately turn it down because I find it's just too loud for my ears. But one thing I can tell you is, even if you set the volume output to maximum, the distortion from the speaker is still kept at a reasonably low level. So this is definitely better than most other similar speakers that I have tried in the past. When I set them to full volume, the distortion from those other speakers is quite a bit more than this Huawei Sound speaker. And audio quality wise, I would say I'm also quite impressed by the audio coming out from this Huawei Sound speaker, considering the size and also the price of this speaker. The highs are pretty nice and quite clear, and the bass actually very surprised me because for such a small speaker, I didn't expect it can generate so much bass. So I mentioned before, there are different sound profiles that you can choose. I found the hi-fi profile is the best when I want to listen to some music. Having said that, I think the high frequency seems a little bit too bright for my ears when I listening at the hi-fi profile. I wish Huawei includes some kind of EQ feature so that I can adjust and fine-tune the EQ settings a little bit. But other than that, I have been listening to many different type of music and also watched quite a few different videos over the last 2 weeks, and I really have to say I'm pretty impressed by the sound quality of this Huawei Sound speaker. Alright, so I have this Huawei Sound speaker with me for about 2 weeks now, and I say there are many things that make me really like this little speaker. Build quality wise, while some part of it may be a little bit plasticky, overall it feels like a very nicely built speaker. When you hold it, it definitely feels very solid, and I really love the style of this speaker. It looks very nice, very shiny, and also looks premium, even though the shiny surface definitely is a bit of fingerprint magnet. Audio quality is also pretty good. I really didn't expect such a small speaker can generate so much bass, and also it can go pretty loud. And especially if you change the sound profile to the Devialet space sound stage, if you close your eyes and listen to the music coming out from this speaker, you would have thought the audio is actually coming out from a much larger hi-fi system with multiple speakers, etc. It doesn't sound like the audio is coming out from a little speaker like this one at all. So I guess the biggest downside of this Huawei Sound speaker is that it doesn't have any kind of voice assistant feature at all. So for people who really want to have voice assistant feature, that is the biggest downside if you choose this Huawei Sound speaker. But apart from that, I think there really isn't anything big that I can complain about this Huawei Sound speaker. And I think Huawei works with Devialet to create this Huawei Sound speaker was definitely a very good decision.